Mr. Transformers 96 here. So the video I'm going to be talking about a newly shown Hot Toys figure, and this time it is Pepper Potts Armor Rescue. I'm very excited to see this. This is definitely one of the kind of spoiler type of characters that I was totally expecting them to do. I'm still hoping that we'll get a Hulk and Thor and everything like that. But this one I had no doubt Hot Toys will make every Iron Man armor that is ever shown, even for a split second in a movie, and this was quite a cool one. So very happy to finally see it. It's interesting. I wonder if there was some sort of embargo on when they could, like, when all the merchandising companies can show their rescue figures or merchandise, because it's odd that on the same day Marvel Legends, Hasbro and Hot Toys showed their rescue armor. Hot Toys showed a full-size one, obviously not for sale, just promotional purposes, and then of course a 1/6 scale figure, which obviously will be for sale. Let's talk about the figure. Overall, I think that it really looks great. As you can see, different lighting kind of makes it look a little bit different. There's some shots of it where it almost looks like the non-purple pieces have a gold kind of look to them. That's obviously just kind of the warmer lights of the camera and the lights that are surrounding it. The shot on the left, I think, gives a more accurate representation of what the coloring is like. You've got more of a silver with that really dark purplish blue, which I think looks really nice. I'm a big fan of that color in general, and I think that it looks really good on the armor as we can see it. I really like the face sculpt, the helmet itself. It has a very angular type of look, very thin eyes that are very long though. I think it looks really cool. It's an interesting design. It's definitely, it has more feminine proportions, not just because it's thinner, but even just in the face, you can, just by the helmet, you can tell that it's more feminine, which I think is quite interesting. But overall, I think that it looks like it's proportioned well. The shot on the left, the head looks a little bit big, but it's only the shot on the left that it looks like that, so I assume it's just the angle. Every other shot looks like the head's in pretty good scale, so I think that that's mainly just the positioning there. As you can see in the bottom right picture from the back, you can see that her paneling does open to reveal, some flight stabilizers, which I think looks really cool. But some of the things that are written on them are the interesting things. She actually does have rescue written on one of the armor plates, which is cool. I didn't notice that in the film. And then it does say that this is the Mark 49, which is interesting because obviously this armor, I guess, was in development before Infinity War, considering the armor that he wears in Infinity War's armor is the 50th armor. So it's quite interesting, even though he's like working on it in Endgame. So I don't quite know how the logistics of that work out, but maybe it was a concept. But it's interesting that she's 49, considering that the newest Iron Man armors mark 85, even though we have no idea what the armors between 50 and 85 are. That's quite a lot, though. My theory was always that in the movie he'd make the 85 and just make a joke about how he's made so many he doesn't even remember what mark he's on, so just call it 85. But they never did that, so I'll be interested to see what their reasoning is to why there's such a big jump in the armors. But overall, I think that this one looks quite cool. I assume it'll be made out of die-cast, of course. Her being thinner, though, she'll be a little bit lighter, which is kind of nice, especially for like the base here, since they really don't give you stable bases with these die-cast figures. They used to. For Infinity War and Endgame, it doesn't seem like they're doing that. They're just giving you the standard base with a pole, which really doesn't work for a die-cast figure. It's too heavy for it. But with her, because she's so much thinner, I think that she might work quite nice with it. Articulation looks quite good. I don't see any area where it would be more hindered than the average Iron Man armor. It looks like it'll probably have just about the same articulation as an average Iron Man armor. As far as the head sculpts go, I really hope it has a Pepper Potts head sculpt, and I'm positive that it will have one. Now my question is, in what version will they do it? Because they can obviously do just the flipped up mask piece, similar to kind of the old style Iron Man's, because she does do that. The first time that we see this armor, she flips up the mask, and you can just see her face inside the helmet. Or if they'll do the full helmet off and just the Pepper Potts head sculpt out of it completely, that's the one that I'm much more preferring. I'd much rather have a full Pepper Potts head sculpt, Gwyneth Paltrow's likeness, that you can interchange with the head, rather than one where you can just flip up the mask and use the magnets to place the front mask on top of the helmet. But it's going to be easier for them to do that, where it's just the face underneath the helmet, and therefore I think that that's probably the one that they're going to go with. But again, I'm hoping for the full head sculpt instead. I think that would look much better when she shows up with the A-Force kind of team, the all-woman team. She has no helmet on when she starts walking and everything. That's the look that I want. I like that a lot better. Yeah, and then as far as accessories go, we don't see this armor do a tremendous amount. Really, actually, we only every time we see it fighting, it's doing the same thing, but it's a really cool thing. Is the fact that it has like some of the pieces of the armor kind of detached from the back, and it kind of floats around the back and uses it to kind of reflect the repulsors, so that she gets just more beams of repulsor light. It would be really cool if they do represent that. I'd love like on the base maybe a clear plastic attachment that goes on the base that kind of has all of her little armor pieces kind of floating around her. I think that would be really cool. They did something similar to that with the oh, was it the Mark 40? I don't remember. The Mark 47, I want to say. I might be wrong with that. But Tony Stark's armor in Spider-Man Homecoming obviously had a similar design with those attachment pieces that come help to save the ship. So it'd be really cool if they do represent that here, especially since you have Iron Man with his kind of repulsor pieces coming out of his back that are doing kind of the same thing, but they're fully attached to him. It'd be really cool to represent hers as well, considering I think anybody that gets this figure is going to want to put it in the pose with Tony Stark back to back when they're shooting their repulsors at the beginning of that big fight. So yeah, overall, very excited about this one. Do I plan to get it personally? I'm on the fence. I'm not 100% sure yet. I do really want it. Like, as far as all the new characters from Endgame goes, this is the one that I want the most, actually. So I do think I'm going to get it. It's going to depend on the price. Obviously, she'll be die-cast, but she's thinner than your average Iron Man figure. You're getting a little bit less with her just because she's so much thinner, and therefore I could see them pricing it a little bit less, or at least it should be priced a little bit less. It should not be as much as the Iron Man, or Mark 85. It should definitely be cheaper than that. I'd like it under the price of the Mark 50 as well. But yeah, overall, I do think it looks wonderful. I'm really interested to see what type of head sculpt we get, and if they do choose to represent her kind of power in the movie with the repulsor beams from her back. So yeah, so let me know what you guys think of this new figure, and thanks so much for watching.